Okay. Good morning, students. My name is Suvas Vora, Assistant Professor of the Electrical Department at the Sri Swaminarayan Institute of Technology. So, in the last lecture, we can study about the hydrometeorological disasters, then cyclones, earthquake, different type of earthquake. So, in the last lecture, we can also see that tsunami. The tsunami is basically that the consider for the surface area to the high peak of the wave of oceans. Then after the how its work, consider the tsunami, the causes of the tsunami, yes, earthquake, landsliding, volcanoes, and asteroid impact is the basic causes of the tsunami. Then measurements of the size of tsunami's height is called the run-up height. Then after start with the hydrometeorological disasters, and the first is what is the flood disasters, then type of flood disasters, characteristic of floods, then primary causes for the floods, and safety when the flood disaster is arise. Then after start with the cyclone, what is the cyclone, then classifications of the cyclone, how to measure the cyclones of the speed, and classifications of the cyclones, and safety tips for the cyclones. And the cyclones were coming from the India. So these are the study in the last lectures. Now the today's topic of the hydrometeorological disasters for the drought disasters, heat wave, cold wave, and avalanche disasters. So start with the drought. So what is the drought disasters? It is difficult to provide the precise and the universally accept the definitions of the drought due to its varying the characteristic and the impact across the different regions of the world. So such a rainfall patterns, human response, and the resilience and the divergence academic preventions is considered. So sorry. So here basically we can say that the drought means when the rainfall is not coming the areas, and at that time they have to create this problem you can see here. So basically we can say that the drought is temporarily aberrations. It means the unlike arbitrary which parameter features of the climate. So the drought is basically depends on the climate and the weather of the atmospheric effect. So seasonal arbitrary also need to be to designate from the drought. So normally we can say that the recurrent features of the climate and the occurrence in all climate regimes and is usually characterized in terms of its practical expansions. So intensity, you can see that the dependence on the drought is the intensity, then durations of the rainfall will be considered that. So the consider of the appearance when the rainfall is different deficient in the relations to the statistical multi-years average for the regions. So we can say that they have the no universal definitions. So the snow onset is difficult to the determine. No single indicator index can identify the physicals of the onset and impact of generally not structures and difficult to quantify. So these are the basic introductions of the drought. नाउ बेसिकली द ड्रग को हम ऐसा बोल सकते हैं कि जब सूखा पड़ता है, इट मीन्स दैट कि जब बारिश नहीं होती है बहुत टाइम से और बिना पानी के जो इफ़ेक्ट जो सरफेस पे आता है, यू कैन सी हियर द फिगर्स is the basically we can say that the drought disasters. Now we can also says that usually the dryness of soil and resulting the crop failure, it means the crack in the surface and shortage of the water for the other usages caused by the significantly the lower rainfall than average over the prolonged period. So the hot dry water, high temperatures and the consequently environments of the moisture from the ground can contribute to the conditions of drought. So here you can see that some historical drought includes that in the 19th, then 1921 to 20 to 1928 to 30, 90 to 1936 and the 1941 and the 1997 to 2009, and you can see that the 12 years drought that was devastating the southwest western, it means the Australia, and is very slow and without historical precedents. So these are the, you can see that the survey of the all over world, the 19th to 2008, the every years, every 5 to 6 years the drought disaster will be arise there. So next one is the types of drought. So basically there are the three types of drought: meteorological drought, then hydrological drought, and agricultural drought. In the meteorological drought, you can see the figures. It is very easy to understand that. So it is the defined that the deficiency of the precision from the expected or the normal level over the expanded period of time, so that the meteorological drought usually the precede other kind of the drought. So according to the legend, the meteorological drought is said to be occurs when the seasonal rainfall received over the area is less than 25%. So we can say that if the rainfall is less than 25% in the area, at that time the meteorological drought will be arise. You can see that in the meteorological drought, the some part will be rise the grass, but the some part is cracked. So this is called the meteorological drought. The next one is the hydrological drought. So we can define that the deficiency in the surface and the surface water supply leading to the lack of the water for the normal and specific needs. So you can see that these type of the layers will be arise of the land. Such a condition arise even in the times of the average and precipitations where increase the usage of water dimensions of the reverses. So this is called the hydrological droughts. And the last one is most important types is the agricultural type. In our India, the agriculture is the very one part of the effect of the economics and as well as the other impact. So the agricultural droughts is defined is generally triggered by the meteorological and the hydrological droughts. So soil moisture and the rainfall are unequal during the crop growing seasons, so causing the extreme crop stress and wilting. So the plant water demand depends on the prevailing weather conditions, biological characteristic of the specific plants, and each stage of the growth, and the physical and the biological properties of the soil. So agricultural drought that arise from the variables susceptibility of the crop during the different stage of the crop development of the majority. So you can see that there are the effect of the agricultural drugs, जिसको हम ये बोल सकते हैं कि जब सूखा पड़ता है तब ऐसे सारे जो पाक है वो सूख जाते हैं. दिस इज कॉल्ड द एग्रीकल्चर ड्रग्स. So these are the basic three types of drug: meteorological, hydrological, and the agricultural drugs will be types of the drugs. Now causes of the drought. Basically the causes, we can say that the drought occurs due to the shortage of rainfall. So the shortage of the rainfall, and then we can also say that the less rainfall arise in a during the rainfall seasons. At that time the drought of cause will be arise. Now the what is the effect of the drought? So basically the drought have the several effect on the agriculture, and to start without the drought effect, mostly the rain feed crops, subsequently in irrigation crops, so affect the daily activities, timbers and the fishes, increase the unemployment, then the depletions of the groundwaters, then increase the energy consequent, then reduce the energy productions in the hydro power plants. The other effect is economical effect, then the environmental effect, agriculture effect, social impact will be effect of the drought due to the drought. So what to do and not do during the drought is, you can see here, never pour waters down the drains. It means हम पानी जो ज़मीन के अंदर जाने देते हैं, उसके अलावा उसकी जगह पे हमको एक पूरा पॉन्ड बना के उसको रखना चाहिए. सो द यूजेस ऑफ वाटर, योर इंडोर प्लांट और द गार्डन्स, then repair the dripping taps, then check all the pumping for leakages, choose the appliances more energy and the water efficiency, and developed and uses of the crop contingencies plan to meet the drought situations. So this one is the precautions for the drought disaster will be arised. So now next topic is heat waves. So what is the heat wave? हीट वेव हम जानते हैं कि अभी के जो हालात हैं उस पे ही ये टॉपिक है कि दोपहर में जब बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी होती है उस इफ़ेक्ट को हो हीट वेव बोलते हैं. इट मीन्स दैट द हीट वेव इज़ टिपिकली डिफाइंड एज periodic of the excessive hot weathers. So hot weathers, we can say that the heat waves will be arise. The heat wave throw as the being generally uncomfortably hot for the populations, and many adversely affect the human health for those vulnerable to the conditions. So heat wave is prolonged period of the excessive hot weathers which may be accompanied by the high humidity. So there is the no universal definitions of the heat waves. The terms is related to the unusual weather in the area. So heat wave is basically depends on the weathers and temperatures that people from the hotter climate the consider the normal can be term a heat wave in a cooler area if they are outside the normal climate patterns for the areas. So this one is the basic definitions of the heat waves. Now, what is the characteristic of the heat wave? The first characteristics of the heat wave is so the heat waves. So basically heat waves is depends on the maximum temperatures by the 5 degree for the regions when the normal temperature is above the 40 degree. You can consider that the 7 Celsius for the region where the normal maximum is less than the 40 degree. So these are the difference between the hilly areas and the normal lower areas temperatures. If the another criteria will be heat waves, the maximum temperature is 3 to 4 on Celsius and the more for the region is 40 degrees. Then heat index, the number of degrees is considered in the Fahrenheit, tells how the feel when the relative humidity is added to the air temperatures. Expose the full sunshine can be increase the heat index by the 50 degrees. Now the heat cramp, the muscular pains and the spasms due to the heavy extensions. And the last one is heat stroke. The heat stroke is the life threatening conditions. Heat stroke means due to the hot weathers you can affect the body or the effect of the human bodies and the fell down. This one is called that the heat stroke. Now what is the effect of the heat waves? So heat effect is the heat related illness in the hypothermia and also not the heat stroke. The high syncope is believed to the result from intense sweat and which leads to the dehydration, so the sunburns. Now, what is the preparations for the heat waves is will be arise? So basically, when the heat wave will be arise, so you can take a precautions for the install the window air conditions thoroughly and the necessary, then the check the air conditions duct for the proper insulations, then the temporary windows reflections will be put for the heat weathers and the normal weathers. So what to do for the safety purpose? You can before the heat waves the install the temporary windows, then after the cover the windows that receive the morning or afternoon sun with the drapes and shades. Get the trained first aid to learn how to treat the heat related emergencies. Now the during the never leave the children and pets alone in the closed vehicles. It means use only the cars and the fully covered with the vehicles. Stay on the lower floor and eat well balanced and light and regular meals. So these are the safety of the heat will be arise. Now in similar way the cold waves. So what is the cold waves? So cold waves is also depends on the weathers. So phenomenon of the cold waves is weather designation by the cooling of the air. So specially used by the US National Weather Service, the cold wave is the rapid fall in the temperature of the 24-hour period requiring the substantially increase the protections to the agricultures. So it means that cold wave is depends when the temperature will be down of continuously in the 24 hours. At that time we can say that the cold wave will be arise. So in the India The northern parts of the India, especially the hilly regions and the adjoining the plains, are influenced by the transient disturbances in the mid latitude west of the have a big formational characteristics. There are the known as the western disturbances. So minimum temperature is dependent on the geographical regions and the time of the years, sorry. So that the cold wave is characterized by or classified by the two types: surf cold waves and cold waves. So surf cold waves means that you can consider the -5 degree deviations from the normal for a region where the normal temperature is less than 10. So you can say that the south cold will be minus 0. Minus 5 degree to 10 degree will be considered that, and in the cold wave you can consider the minus 3 to minus 4 from the normal and less than 10. So these are the classifications of the cold waves. What is the effect of the cold waves? The explore to extends and essentially unexpected colds, then extreme the winter cold and abnormal wave cold. So if I talking about the exposure to the extreme and the especially unexpected cold waves, so can lead to the hypothermia and the frostbite, which require the medical attentions due to the disaster of the tissues and damage and organ of the failures. So these are cause the death and injury to livestock and the wildlife. Now we can also discuss with the extreme weathers or extreme winter cold causes the poorly insulated water pipelines and the mains to freeze. So even some poor protected indoor plumbing reboost as the water expand within them. And the last one is abnormal cool waters will be effect of the cold waves. So now we can talk about the safety tips. So keep ready for the emergency kit with the uh, gumbals and medicines and etc. Then listen the local radio stations for the what to do of the and what is the causes and effect of the situations. Then the stay indoors, keep dry, maintain the proper ventilations and protect yourself. So these are the safety precautions will be taken during the cold waves will be arise. So these are the basic comparisons for the cold wave and hot wave. So heat waves will be 4.5 to 6.4 above the normal maximum conditions, and this one is the below the conditions. In similar way we can say that the heat wave is more than the 45 degrees, and this one is the below the 10 degrees. The apply will the maximum temperature remain same and 0 degree in the hilly area and the 10 degree in the normal temperatures. The minimum temperature departures is less than the 0.6.4, and here the maximum temperature departures is greater than of minus 6.4. So these are the basic comparisons of the hot waves and cold waves. Now avalanches. So this one is also the types of landsliding. we can already study about the landsliding. So basic definitions we can say that for the avalanches is the mass of the snow sliding, tumbling, or the falling down of the inside the surface. This is called the avalanche disasters. The conditions effect of the stability includes the gravitational force, components of the snow, and the resisting of the force. So snow down slope because of the gravity and the conditions affecting the stability including the gravitational force, component of the snow, and the resisting force such as the frictional resistance. This is the call of the avalanches. So in general we can say that the causes of the avalanches when balance is lost and force exceed the resistance. So due to the landsliding, you can see the figures, we can easily understand about the avalanches means that the landsliding of the others at that time this disaster will be arised. This one is basically the hilly areas. So if I consider that in India the hilly areas is Jammu Kashmir, arise in Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, West Uttar Pradesh, red zone, blue zone, and yellow zones. So we can talk about the red zone, blue zone, and yellow zone is damage the zone when the avalanche are most frequent and have the impact the pressures of more than 3 ton per square meters. So this is called the red zone. If the avalanches of the 3 tonner per square meters where the living and the other activities may be permitted with the connections of safety design, but such areas may be victim on warming. So this is called the blue zone, and the snow avalanches occurs only the occasionally. This is called the yellow zone. So these are the basic avalanches in the India. Now there are the no reason behind the development of the avalanches. The causes of the avalanches is here. It was believed for the long that echo of human voice in the mountains could dislodge the enough snow to start one. So you can first one is snow vostrum and the wind directions. So heavy snowstorms are more likely to cause the avalanches. If I consider that the 24 hours after the storm are considered to be the most critical times, and the wind normally blow from the one side of the slope of the mountain to the another slides. So below up it will score snow off the surface which can overrating the mountaining. Now the heavy snowfalls. So in a hilly areas the heavy snowfall is start since the deposit snow in the unstable areas and put the pressures on the snowpack. So the precipitating during the summer month is leading cause of the snow avalanche. Then after the human activities means that you can considerable to the start of the many avalanches in a recent years. If I consider that the spots that require the steep slope often the put pressures on the snowpack which is cannot deal of the conditions. So the combined with the heavy deformations and the soil erosions in the mountain regions, it gives the snow little stability in the winters of the month. And the last one is the vibrations or the movements. So the use of the all terrestrial vehicles and the snowmobiles create the vibrations within the snow that cannot withstand, so the coupled with the gravitational pull, it is one of the quick way to cause the avalanches. So what is the effect of the avalanches? The damage of life and properties, flash floods, and economic effect. So these are the effect of the avalanches. Now today we can learn about the what is the drought. Then after we can see the heat waves, cold waves, comparisons of the heat waves and cold waves, and the last topic is avalanches. Here the 1 marks questions are for the worksheets and the 7 marks questions are for the assignments. You can write the file name to upload the Google Classroom is, first of all you can write your enrollment numbers, then after name, UNIT2, and you can here you can write the worksheet 6. So if any doubt regarding this topic you can contact me, and if any questions arise for this topic you can also send me the mail your questions. My mail id and the phone numbers or contact numbers are seen your screen. Thank you.